Right, ready to go? Episode 3000.
We love a clipper board. We're back. Torq
The
Moto,
clipper board.
The clipper board that cost Wobbs an absolute fortune.
£7.95.
It's an in-joke if you've been watching all our episodes, which I hope you
We
have.
are getting value for money out of that clipper board. It went missing for a little while. Tone had it in
And
the
he
back
was-
of his van. I don't know where it went.
And I'll
for
tell you
ages.
what, I can honestly say
Distraught.
he was genuinely pissy about it. He was upset for a while there. He wasn't happy.
Mate, at £8.50, £9, whatever, it's not easy earned.
Anyway,
It's hard work.
keep an eye on the clipper board.
I
So
will.
we're back. Another Torq Moto episode, and we're following on. For those of you that saw the first part of Tom Fuller's interview with us, or podcast, or chat. It's not really an interview. Let's get that straight.
It's a bit of pub chat.
It's a bit of pub chat. That's what our podcast is
The only
about.
thing is, it's not pub chat because we know most of this.
Yes.
And so
Correct.
we're having to re-go over old ground for the people since giving it, well, who the f*** is Tom Fuller?
Yeah,
Well,
valid.
Image Design Custom, that's who you are, kid.
that's it.
So let's pick up. First episode we spoke about how you got into the sport, your creative love of creative design, all those kind of stuff, and then obviously we spoke about
Moto
Moto
Magazine.
Days.
But
Moto
whilst
Magazine.
you were doing moto, you were painting helmets. So how did the helmet painting, it's a passion, I understand, but how did it ever start paying the bills?
It doesn't.
Does it?
Fuck.
Look at his face. He's like,
No,
"Oh,
I know.
it still
It
does."
still don't pay
It's
the bills.
labour intensive, kid.
It's labour intensive. Yeah, absolutely. So it was a struggle for a while. You know, when I'm just starting off, 15 years old in Dad's shed, and started painting helmets. Definitely didn't earn any money then.
No.
But
Aerosol cans from Alfred's.
literally rattle cans. Had my airbrush. Was filling up the airbrush pot with a rattle can kind of deal. But I did get a couple of breaks. I'm going to say that.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate to know we talked about Batesy and Thorpe in the first part, and Batesy lived up the road. I literally pedalled up there on my BMX, rattled on his door. "Hi, mister. Do you want your helmets painted?" And that was it. He was like, "Yeah, all right then." Got the gig. And Batesy was British Championship, World Championships at the time.
Yeah.
So you're going to say, I'll take that. That was a good break for me. Cheers, Matt.
He's a good guy.
He's
Matt,
not all
actually.
that bad.
He's a good guy in the end of it.
He's no. He's,
Well, I'm
he's
expecting.
sound as a
Hold on,
pound.
I'm just going to stop you. I
he's
know
good as well.
people don't like it when we talk over guests, but that's what we do. We don't care.
what we
it's
do,
our show.
fuck up.
That was only a comment.
You want to do it, to have your own
Obviously, I
fucking
told
show.
Matt that you're coming on. So Matt said, "Look, keep your phone on. Keep your phone on." He said,
Oh.
because I was obviously with him at the Arena Cross this weekend. He goes, I'll send you over some nuggets. so far, that it hasn't come through. But the last message I had from him just a little while ago was, "I'm just going on a call. Keep your phone on." So in this next hour,
Keep an eye on that, kid.
He's going to fucking tuck me up.
Here we go. Here's one thing that he did say to mention before we get into the thick of it about actual helmet designs and fashion and all that stuff. He said, "Ask him about having a drink with Daz Lawrence in Paris. Lovely bloke."
Never heard of him. Prayed out.
Never heard of that.
That's-
That's right.
Oh, Darren Pro- Oh, yeah,
Darren
no.
Lawrence.
Sorry, yeah.
How does
Jet and Hunter's dad.
Yeah, Jet knows that. Yeah, sorry. Go on.
So come on. What does he mean by that? What's gone on there?
We just got pissed up and had a few drinks. You know, boys are in there, same hotel. You know, it's like.
I feel
Yeah.
that there's more to the story. Go on.
No, I think we'll wait for Matt to.
That's what he says. He says, "Ask him about having a drink with Daz Lawrence in Paris. Lovely bloke."
I'm going to have to recap this one.
Oh,
because- yeah.
Okay. Funny.
Mate, were you-
Bizarrely, messages are starting to come through. as we goes.
Were you with us in Bercy after? And matey was there, the freestyle kid who used to wear like the hanky on his head, and Craig Elwell kept giving it. I need to. I was gone. Just with the hanky. Anybody got something I can wipe my nose with? I was crying,
right, yeah, I'm with you.
crying,
Yeah,
laughing, and no, they didn't get it.
No, Bercy days were the best days. I reckon they were good.
Yeah, we got messy.
Yeah.
We got messy. I remember we were in a taxi. Another Craig Elwell store.
Plenty of them. He won't come on the show, though.
He won't come on the show.
won't
So
come
maybe
well.
we should throw him under the bus, and then he can come and defend himself.
He wouldn't, though, would he? He'd still just get out, whatever. Oh, we'd love to get him on, but he just
He
won't.
didn't even want to do a
No.
No, couldn't get him on
interview.
it.
Didn't want to do it.
Didn't want to do it. No.
Yeah, fair play.
Yeah,
I
so,
think
so
he's worried
anyway,
about
listen,
showing up on
throughout
Prime
this
Watch or
podcast, if I suddenly throw a question,
There you go.
Yeah,
Gotta-
it might have been
or
'cause
maybe
my
let
phone
them all
big-
build
Fuck
up
you,
and
Matt.
then just
Yeah.
throw him at the end.
Yeah. So where was we
Q&A.
before
Yeah,
that?
so Matt gave me
Yeah.
good opportunity, good chance. Training with Dickie, Thorpe, and then Motocross the Nations comes along. And Dave's asked me to do helmets, 1994.
not a bad year. To
94.
Do, not a bad year to
not
do
a
your
bad
first
start.
lid.
1994.
The year.
I actually did it. I did them the year before, 1993.
Right.
Dave Smith, Kurt Nickel, and Cooper as well. And then,
But that's quite an expense on you for nothing. That's quite a, if you're struggling to make ends meet.
Oh,
to have to
yeah.
do like 3 proper helmets.
yeah. Well,
You
the
have to-
ACU, you'll notice on the 94s, they've got ACU on there. So the ACU funded, that was probably getting paid to do Top Riders helmets, and the ACU funded it. So that was good. Happy days. I was grateful. And then we all know what happened in 1994. The helmets, it's just funny because like Herring's crash helmet was beaten to death. He'd been doing 250 GPs all year. I couldn't get the peak. I painted it with the peak on. You know, I couldn't. The bolts were all rounded off and fucked. So I painted that one in situ. So that was cool. Did this kind of design to go with the shirts and
Dark green.
Yeah, it was.
That was the British width colourway, though, wasn't it?
British
That was
racing
our
green.
colours that we
Yeah.
had for so long.
Yeah, so like a lot, there was the green on there, and then the Union flag, bang the numbers on there. And I was racing at Rusper that day, and then I came home, heard the news, couldn't believe it because it's finished the streak of the Americans.
Oh, you weren't there?
No,
No, me neither. I was in Belgium.
Ah,
Didn't bother going. No, I never win the thing.
No, you ain't gonna win that,
No, it was
right?
like a 2-hour drive
Fucking
away.
waste
I was
of
like,
time that'd be.
I was just loading up the van. I was like, I'm going home.
so that was a good. That was
Great.
another good
One of my
break.
best
Then
decisions.
started doing more helmets.
So
for
at that
boys.
Nations helmets, they do 2 each or 1 each?
One each, one peak. That was it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It goes to show how it's evolved, or, you know, the industry's evolved a little bit. The fact that they didn't even give you a new helmet to spray. You had to take his
Old one.
old
Yeah.
one from the year.
Yeah.
Because that just
They
simply
were
doesn't,
wanked
that
out,
just
they were
simply doesn't
shit.
happen now, does it? It's
No.
not like
BFE.
you're gonna start with a
That
freshie.
was a BFE helmet that year.
The
What
BFE
hour?
helmet. Who?
Who?
Nickel was on a yes. Herring was on a
Brewery?
Yeah.
I don't know. I never knew how you said
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Yeah.
Malin was on a bell.
Malin was on the bell. And yeah, the boys rinsed it.
How
and-
sad are we that we know all the brand about? We are like spotters, aren't we?
Yeah.
I don't think that's sad. I think that's a good thing. You know, that it shows at least it shows we're paying attention.
We were. Couldn't tell you what they were now.
And then just started piling on from there, really. And then did.
And that brought the work in. That was worth doing as an advertising thing.
Yeah, it was good. I always remember Malin, he put something in Dirt Bike Rider, like thank Tom Fuller for doing the
Oh, that's
helmets. I was
cool.
like, oh, that's nice. That's cool. Cheers, mate. And then did most of the donations helmets from there onwards. Didn't do the ones I was quite happy about. Fox Hill's shit shower, you know. And Jason
98.
or Jason JLF did the helmets that year. And I was so happy when
'Cause you wouldn't have seen them.
You did. They were fucked. Like first corner, you couldn't even see them.
yeah.
So what a waste of time that was.
Shocking.
It was a shocker. So didn't do that year. A couple other years I didn't do. But apart from that, done them every single year, really.
Yeah,
Talking of Nations helmets, there's one on the table there.
Yeah, that's Tommy's.
That's one of Thomas. What year was that? Was that Donington?
No, this was for France. No, it was Italy, Majoria.
Okay.
2017, I want to say.
Yeah.
When Anderson got landed on over that tabletop.
Oh,
yeah.
remember
Yeah,
that
yeah.
incident? Yeah.
So,
It's a stealth helmet. It looks
It's-
alarmingly not like a stealth helmet.
yeah, well, the funny thing is we named it the Belth. We named it the Belth. Tommy wasn't overexcited about the stealth helmets. I think one fell off while he was riding, and he was like, oh,
Didn't they used to like, come down over his eyes?
Fell off.
yeah. Well, you know,
Like you do. Like helmets regularly fall
Tommy,
off your head.
You know, Tommy just said, oh, it fell off. I need to get a bell now. So,
Yeah.
but no, that was nice design. It's cool. Our flag's cool, but it's a bit shit to paint. It's just like,
Yeah.
you know, I've always looked at the stars and stripes and go, you lucky fuckers. Like, it's just cool.
From a design element.
yeah, design element, you know, and then they got the Viva Victory over the top
Yeah.
in the old
Yeah.
days and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
And
Now, another thing I forgot to get was when I was at Smith, my job was to hire European guys, and I used to hire like 3 English guys. Well, for 2 years on the trot, I got the Nations team.
Yeah.
And I used to get goggles from the factory before they had any foam stuck on them.
yeah,
Send them to you.
Yeah.
You would paint the flag on them. Then they'd go back to the factory, have all the glue stuck on, and the foam stuck on them, and that would be their custom goggles. That was
yeah,
we did
custom goggles. I forgot about
we did
those.
we did that for 2 years on the trot.
Yeah,
There's some in there. They look really cool.
yeah.
Got
well,
some other stuff here on the tape. Again, Pete, if you're listening to this when you're driving, obviously you
Can't
can't
see.
see what you're seeing. So go and watch it on YouTube. So these are some of your work that actually has ended up in Wobbs's
yeah, there's actually quite a lot.
labyrinth.
Man cave.
Yeah, the man cave.
So Explain this
spotted,
one. This other one in front of us here. Then
This is Dobby's.
That was a replica when he rode the Hot Wheels bike at Farley.
Yeah, so Wobb's made up that wicked 500, didn't he? And then back in the day, Jamie had Road 4 Pro Circuit, and that was basically a replica of his Hot Wheels.
closer look at that. Yeah, while
You know
you were
what?
talking
You know
about
what?
that.
You know, that is the only helmet in this whole building that I paid for. I know.
Fair
No,
play.
he made me
You
give,
did, yeah.
he made me give money to charity. Whereas everything else has just been a gift
Yeah.
because of the work and the effort you put in. But no, I had to pay for that one.
So is that all done by hand through there,
Yeah, pretty much.
Tom?
Yeah,
the
pretty
Hot
much.
Wheels bit.
So do you
Christ.
have like a machine that makes stickers for like masking?
It's
Yeah.
evolved a bit now,
Yeah,
and
it's
it makes it with digital printing and whatnot.
Like back in the day, it was a scalpel masking tape, and that was
Yeah.
it. You know, there was no vinyl plotters, no cutters, no
Yeah.
programs. So it was just purely done by hand. I'm pretty good with a scalpel. I'd be a pretty good surgeon, I reckon. But now it's like vinyl cutters. We do use vinyl, and we use part vinyl, part paint. Monster make us use vinyl for their graphics.
Yeah, because that Monster logo's got so many different coloured greens on, hasn't it?
It's just so it stays consistent. You know, they want their branding to be completely consistent.
I've been at PC when they're
Yeah. I
Trying
mean,
to
if
get
you
the
tap
graphics done,
into
and that is-
Google Monster Energy Crash Helmet, there's some clusterfucks on there.
sure.
So they want the branding to be on point every time. Red Bull make us paint everything. So every Red Bull helmet we paint, logos, ball, sun, all painted on. Pantone colours, kind of Pantone colours in. Yeah, so we have to paint all the Red Bull stuff on. They get charged more, but we have to paint it. It's pretty cool though. I like it.
Wouldn't that open up more chance of inconsistency though?
No, because we've got all the colours.
Right,
you know,
okay.
we've got gallons of Red Bull blue, got gallons of Red Bull
Yeah.
red, and it's all formulated. So, but generally, most of the Red Bull helmets are all painted, which is pretty cool. But using stickers, although it's easy, you think it's easier. The mastery is to not make it look like you've just launched a sticker on.
Yeah.
You know, you got to flat it back down, you got to re-lacquer it, make it just not look like a dog's dinner. So it's good in one way and bad in the other. So you still want it to be like a premium product and make it look pretty funky, but a lot of it is stickers.
Let's take a Red Bull athlete, Red Bull rider. You name one that you're known for.
We could say for a motocrosser, well, let's go with Johnny Walker.
Johnny Walker. Okay.
We're doing Billy Bolts at the moment.
So there you go. You get commissioned to do a crash helmet.
Yeah.
The crash helmet arrives. What's the beginning to end? What's the time frame?
So we'll get a tip off, you know, the rider will go, look, I'm doing an event. It might be an enduro, you know, it might be super enduro, whatever it is. I'll maybe use Billy's as a reference because we're just starting to do them again. Did them a few years ago, and then OCD in France started to do his. OCD, fucking great painters, by the way, awesome. And we get a tip off. Red Bull say, right, they give us a list at the start of the year, all the athletes, and that gets put into like the calendars, when they want them by, what's the date. And then we have to start with designs, what helmet's going to be on, when we're going to get the helmets. And then...
because you would think all the Red Bull helmets are the same, but they are not, are they?
No.
They're like nowhere near. The more detail in the colours.
Yeah.
You know, Roxon's always got some cool looking.
Summer Roxon's just fantastic. They do a lot. And we've done a lot of detailing within the blue and the silver.
That's the point. So from afar,
Yeah.
they need to make sure that you've obviously got that generic Red Bull branding.
Yeah.
But when you get close to it,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of detail.
Yeah, you see like almost like
So Air Tricks in America,
detail within it.
Air Tricks in America, been doing them for donkey's years. Chris over there, I always go and see him, visit him when I'm over there. Got to do some painting there I went over for a week. We had the floods, not last year, the year before. And so I rocked up. He was like, right, what do you want to do? And I was like, okay, what we got to do? He said, we've got Carey Hart's helmet there, that needs painting to go with the bike that he's just painting for him. I was like, okay, I'll help you out with that one. That's cool. And Ken Block's helmet.
oh wow.
Just after he
Hey.
passed away. And he was halfway through doing the paintwork.
We'll see.
So I got to work on that. And I think Ken's daughter ended up getting it, or they did a campaign and then raised some money. But how cool's that? Like, straight in, week's work at Air Tricks. Cheers for that, Chris. Love it. Awesome. So back to the original. Billy will come up with some ideas. This is what I want. He's going to go for a little bit of glitter, name around the back. Nothing too heavy. That gets scheduled in. Sammy does, my graphic designer Sammy, he does the layup, the mock-ups. they get sent to Red Bull. They have to get signed off by Red Bull. They get signed off by the rider, sometimes by the manufacturer as well. And then we get stuck into paintwork, and then off we go.
So what is the time frame on that? What, a month? How long does it?
Sometimes the design process would take longer
than the actual
painting. Yeah. For paint wise, for all the paint work we do lots of motorcycles as well. A standard answer, once you get booked in, we're always consistently booked up.
Yeah.
2 to 3 months at least sort of waiting list to get on the list. But once we get your crash helmet, it's going to be 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So I always say it could be a Harley Davidson. Week prep, week paint, and a week finishing. We can get them turned around overnight. You're going to pay for it. Usual average time on a crash helmet would be anywhere between 8 and 18 hours.
But we're sat obviously now into February, beginning of the year, off season. That's got to be one of your busiest times regards of motocross.
It's flat out.
That's what I mean. Like,
yeah.
Other than the when you get to the nations and you get a bunch of bespoke helmets, you got to do then.
And everything I was speaking
because you must have so many top level athletes if you've got contracts with Monster and Red Bull. I mean, I know that, like you just said, they share them around some other countries and stuff as well.
Yeah.
And you being in the UK, I mean, we're not mainland Europe to some of those GP riders, but
yeah. But a lot of most of the MXGP guys.
You must have just dropped some lids off to Hawkstone this weekend.
Yeah, dropped a couple off for Roman Fevre.
Yeah.
We did a couple for Coldenhoff just before. So that was really cool. I mean, we're working some new stuff with Caroli at the moment. I mean, it's just fucking amazing. And this is the cool thing about my job. You get to find out this shit before it even gets released, announced.
Yeah.
They're going, right, this is a biggie. It's not going any further. That's fine. We know the drill. We've got a new rider we're signing. And I'm going, who can it be? Like, because everyone's tied up. It's Caroli. I went, wait, what? You cut him in half and it's Red Bull.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is so cool. Yeah. And it's Caroli. It's just like, how cool is that? It's just awesome job.
It's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're doing some new stuff for him at the moment.
So how many helmets would you have on paint at any one time? You're not just start one, finish one, start another one.
Up to 20 at a time, sort of going round the system. We do about 450 to 500 helmets a year. So the boys push them out. Mega team, love. The team are just awesome. On the bike side, and
I was going to say that's just the helmets because let's talk about the other side of it.
Custom
you custom bikes.
The custom bikes.
Again, you got a tank on the.
That wasn't really a custom job, was it, Tom?
But it's still like a fine bit of art. You've sprayed a tank here for wobs.
You know how trick that is, though. You know how trick that is.
Yeah, there's a story behind that.
That's a genuine pro circuit. Before pro circuit was it was called Anaheim Husqvarna, and that
I do remember that. Let me grab it.
And that was one of their team bikes that I managed to buy.
I'll take it back to the workshop with me.
Off Craigslist in America, and we bought it. And I'm looking around it, and I'm thinking this thing's pretty trick. And I took it down to Pro Circuit, and Mitch confirmed that it was one of his team bikes.
Cool.
He wasn't sure if it was one of Troy's or one of Bill Keefe's, but it's a 125 Husky 1981.
Yeah.
So I got Tom to paint the thing, and I have just now found a set of side panels, and they say PCP on them.
Nice.
Pro Circuit products. And that's my fun. Now I've got them. I'm going to build it.
Another little project.
Mitch wants that. And this is before they were even making pipes. It's got DMC pipe and silencer on it.
Nice.
So Mitch wasn't even making pipes at the time.
Yeah.
But it's a proper thing. And so it needs the love that it requires. So that's going to go in Pro Circuit showroom.
I'm glad I didn't drop it.
Yeah, good one. We do a shit ton of bikes. The business, not by choice, is pretty much split straight down the middle. It's half motorcycles, half helmets. We earn a shit ton more money doing the motorcycles than what we do the helmets.
Sure, yeah.
If you want to call it a labour of love, a little bit. But like you say, it's hands-on.
But if you're 50-50, that's tantamount to your business turning out 1,000 helmets a year.
Yeah.
If you're doing 500 helmets and about the same.
And we just done
a lot of paint. It's a lot of lacquer, kid.
Yeah, we go through a lot of it. And we've been Harley Davidson painters for a long time now, authorised Harley Davidson painters. Just done a contract with Norton, 125 limited edition motorcycles. That's cool. The Norton place up there is
I was going to ask you about licensing arrangements.
Yeah.
Because that is a big deal. When you get to that level,
so that's
you've got brands like saying you are officially licensed to do that.
Yeah.
125, and this is like their V4s, full fairing. So there's a lot of work there. The motorcycle team smash it. You know, they're just awesome. And then we're working on stuff with Ducati at the moment, which is like mega. You know, I did some live painting at the Bike Shed show last year for Ducati, just getting involved in another project with them, which I can't say too much about.
Fair dues.
So, yeah, the motorcycle side of it, what do? We did Triumphs for Green Day, sent over to America. And that's how we knew the boys.
That's what we were doing when we
Yeah, I
were
was going to say, I saw the picture of you two hanging out with Trey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, it's Trey. Let's go and say hi.
By the way, if you don't know Trey, is Trey Cool. He's the drummer for Green Day.
Yeah.
I just thought, you know.
So we
some random bloke called Trey that you just
that was
serving the food in the VIP.
that, you know, the opportunities, the stuff that you get involved in, like behind the scenes, is just awesome. We were doing some work for Triumph at the time. We did a bike for their film Birds of Prey, I think it was at the time. Then that led on to another project, and then we ended up painting the Green Day stuff. And it's cool. It's just like awesome, man. It's just, yeah.
I got a question. Regards of the top riders, how many lids would they get through in a year? How many do you actually have to spray for them? Let's say like you just said, like, okay, if you were doing Caroli's lids when he was racing the full season or anything like that,
Between 10 and 15.
Right. Oh, really? That many?
Yeah, for the donations, if they're doing donations as well. So, I don't know. Is it many? 10 helmets? You know, they're getting a hard time.
It's a lot for somebody that only ever really got one or two, I can
No, absolutely.
It seems like a lot more than I ever remember them getting.
Yeah.
Even back in the early 2000s, they weren't getting
maybe
anywhere near that amount.
MJC, Team Yamaha, they might get 5. But the top boys are getting, 8 to 12, let's say. And they do get pretty fucked.
But I suppose that's where we've evolved, where image, you know, is like if it's become such a fashion industry that you're not selling it, you're not pitching it if you're riding around in a battered, beaten up lid, are you?
No, it's like the F1 stuff though. The amount of money, obviously F1's a different league, but you know those guys wear a different helmet every week and they sell them. They sell replicas.
Yeah,
it's a big market. You know, I mean, like a race worn like helmet from anybody. I mean, I got a Valentino Rossi there, but it's not race worn.
Yeah.
It was one that Troy had done something with and signed, but it's not race worn. That thing's worth 30 grand.
Fuck it.
You know, and it is crazy.
I was going to say, it's a good job riders do get that amount of crash helmets because, Wobbs, it looks like you've had...
I've got most of them.
You've got a few of them, yeah.
But that's the hardest thing to collect because they don't get so many of them, you know.
And it's a custom paint. You know, a lot of the riders do, but a lot of the riders don't really realise what they're getting. We did a Red Bull day up at the HQ in London, and it was like a summit meeting that they do. First day they do how you got to wear your cap on the podium, what you got to say, blah, blah, blah. Second days are like a bit more of an events day. I think the year before they'd had a chef on and they did like cook school and stuff, and then they asked us to go up and do a paint school that following year.
That's cool.
It was fucking wicked. So we went there, we had a load of shells that we'd sort of half painted, Red Bull and stuff like that. Funny thing was, when we went there, and we took all the masks and all the like intricacy stuff, the stuff that's quite hard to do. The riders were going, "Fuck this! How do you even do this shit?" You know, and they're weeding out all these things of their designs. It might have been the Athertons, it might have been the skiers, snowboarders, and they were going, "Fuck this! I'm going to make my design a little bit easier for you next time." I went, "No. This is what we do. Like, I don't want to go down a hill like that at 70 miles an hour.
Yeah,
That's what you do.
Yeah, you do you, I'll do me. Yeah.
Exactly. I like you stay in your lane, I'm staying in mine. But it was quite a good eye opener for them because they realise what they're getting. They're getting a custom painted helmet worth God knows how much money every time they go out there to race.
So what's your favourite helmet you ever done?
Oh, fucking hell. How many times I've been asked that question?
Well, you're getting asked it again.
No,
it's a really good question and one that I really struggle to answer. But it probably is
they're all shit.
Simple as the replica we did for Thorpe a few years back for his 60th. Stephen Sword reached out.
Yes.
Want to get my helmet done.
MDS one.
It was an MDS one, but we painted it onto an Alpine Star, so complete replica. And we even put the little poppers...
I remember.
Oh, nice.
Into the thing, and they rattled and shit, you know. But it was real simple. But obviously, growing up, Dave was the hero.
Iconic.
It's the most basic paint job, but fucking so good to do, you know. We've done some amazing paint work, and then it just go back to that less is more kind of.
Yeah, when you've worked with some proper names.
Yeah.
Like myself.
Absolutely.
Like that.
There's one there.
Only the best.
195. seem to remember you wearing that. At
magazine tester.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Yeah, it was a test. Yeah, but
Back when I could actually sit on a bike.
we've done a lot of the top boys. It's
Is there anybody particularly you hate working with?
hated working with. Yeah, Billy McKenzie. Yeah.
You not think about
All
that
right,
one.
Billy.
You not think about that one for long.
He was only asking me at the weekend about getting another crash helmet done. He said he's going to call you this week.
Go No, I'll tell you a story about this because painted Billy's helmets. Love Billy, by the way.
Yeah, I know. That's banter.
He's
We know.
He's
Oh,
doing
no,
a
we
great
love
job
him.
at the
Yeah.
arena cross, by the way. So we'd paint his helmets when he was with Monster and stuff like that, and he didn't really have much to do with it because it might be sort of a bit of a standard design. And then he retired, and then he came back, started racing again, still pretty quick. And he said, "Oh, look, I want you to paint a crash helmet for me." I'm like, "Yeah, no problem." Anyway, then we started talking about pricing. He was like, "What do you mean?" I went, "Yeah, I'm not doing it for because I never did it for anyway because it'd be on a
Somebody else paid for it, yeah.
yeah, someone else is paying for it." If he'd pay, I did him a good rate. Let's put it that way.
And that paint's expensive now as well.
Yeah, I'm not paying my boys and girls.
Yeah,
It's
they're
like,
not what
paying them.
YTS is.
Anyway, I did him a really good deal. If he'd paid a 10, it would have been too much. But did him a deal. Did all the designs. He stressed Sammy out because the designs were just going psychedelic and all the rest of it. The good thing about Billy is he knows what he wants.
I was just going to say, because he is a
he's
creative.
very creative.
He is very creative.
And some of the stuff that we were going through was just like mind blowing. So it was actually good fun to work with. But then what happened was we painted the helmet. It was that orange one at the time. It looked wicked. It was really cool. Everyone's happy. And then he went. He was like, "I'm not going to fucking pay for another helmet. I'll do it myself." I was like, "Rock and roll, crack on."
Crack on, kid. Get
He did
yourself
some
down Alfred's.
stickers.
That's classic, Billy, isn't it? I was just, when you said that, I'm like, yeah, that is classic. No, I've got this.
I've got this. Anyway, so at the vet donations, not last year, the year before when he was there, he said, "Shh, Tomo, come here." I said, "All right, mate, what's up?" He said, "I got an apology." I said, "Why?" He said, "I used to bust your balls." And he said, "I've had a go at doing it myself." That. How'd you do it? Can't get the vinyl one. I can't get this. The paint. You got master that. He went, "I completely understand now. I understand." So I just was I'm sorry. I was like, fair play to him. It was just.
Oh, that's the thing. He will shoot from the hip, but when
Maybe we should have what's your
can-
favourite Billy McKenzie story section?
I could just give you loads from just this weekend alone, but I won't. He was on it this weekend in Aberdeen. I got to say, for the arena cross. Talking about Billy there and the creative process, how much do riders? I guess it varies. Some riders have more of a creative input than other. I've always assumed that Siwa has always been one that's kind of. He seems to be. He's quite stylish. He's always.
Yeah.
Does he get involved with his own designs more than say another rider?
He likes him, Glenn Coldenoff.
Yeah.
Coldenoff could make Wolf gear look good. He's just super stylish. And we've done some awesome paint jobs. Jeremy Siwa as well knows what he wants. He's
the same on the bikes.
Yeah,
Like,
I would imagine. Yeah,
He's quite peculiar. Not peculiar. Particular is probably the best word.
He's getting helmets painted in Japan. He's getting painted in America. We get to paint some. And I was just texting him last week. Got a couple of helmets. Some usually do his donations helmets, something like that. But he just fucks off, get them done wherever he wants to get them done, which is cool. I like that.
Yeah.
But he knows what he likes. So answer to the question, a lot of riders are really specific. They know what they want, and it can be a bit of a pain in the arse sometimes. But again, it's what we do. Other riders, just roll with it. Just so happy.
Just you sort it out.
Roman Fevro,
just leave that.
To roll
But it seems like the helmet paint thing is kind of having a resurgence. Like it was the thing in the 80s.
Yeah.
Very simply, the Wardy and the classic RJ
Yeah.
and all those. And then as maybe into the 2000s, Thor or these companies were coming out with helmets and they didn't want them to look any different to the ones you could buy.
Yeah.
So that really restricted you guys. You were just literally putting names and numbers on them.
Yeah.
And even like pro circuit helmets, there was not even a name on them. They were custom painted, but
the production helmets have come so far.
Yeah.
You can get some. I'm looking at that Troy Lee lid there. I mean, it's
ace.
It's fucking brilliant. It's so cool.
And the quantity of choice. That's the thing as well.
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
Like, it's not like we were talking about motocross as a fashion industry. It's just like, back in the day, each kit company would have, one or two lines with 3 or 4 color options in it. God, now you can have like 10 lines of different kit, different grade
4
kit.
different seasons a year.
Different
Yeah,
colour.
yeah.
It really...
I mean,
So what I'm getting at with that is it probably becomes harder to do something that's really bespoke and stands out because there's just so much going on regards of kit and
And
colourways.
with production, like we said, digital production, everything used to have to be like handmade. Now it's on a computer. It's a little bit easier now, I think, to come up with some crazy designs.
yeah,
whereas
the
back
funny
in the
thing
day-
is, people still want custom painted. You
Yeah.
know, we're basically doing a branding exercise for the drinks companies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're branding a 3D model, basically.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm sure if they could go and get that printed down at Vistaprint or whatever it is
you
this
wouldn't be
week,
getting a phone call.
we're not getting a phone call. But you can't just go and print a helmet.
No.
So we're doing them, you know, to a certain point, their marketing and branding. We're branding their helmets. So that's a good gig to have. You know, that gives us a lot of work. But people still want custom painted helmets because they don't want that Trolley one because the brother-in-law's got one. They don't want to be lining up next to him.
So you obviously do all the Monster and the Red Bull, but how many like private punters? How many guys come on? They want one helmet doing, and they give you a design. And is there a lot of that?
Yeah, there's quite a lot of that. Probably, but only about 10% of the business.
Yeah,
Yeah, 10%. The good, I'd say the good customers are the guys, maybe the gentleman drivers rolling around in their, you know, 911s round at Donington or their McLarens or whatever. And we put some serious time into those paint jobs and they pay serious money. And when I say serious money, it's all calculated. We're working it out. But it could be between 2 and 5 grand on a paint job. Like, I am a realist. I do realise that is a lot of money.
Yeah.
500 quid's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But when you're spending that kind of money, but it's a fucking work of art. And they're looking at it to go with the McLaren or it's to go with this. They love it.
Yeah.
and they're not getting smashed up. To
I was going to say,
And they're not getting
motocross,
smashed to
yeah,
shit,
so
yeah.
it's got, the longevity of that crash helmet would last longer, wouldn't it? And all.
That's
Yeah.
always the problem with motocross stuff. You make it look good, and as a mechanic, you know, you'd make a bike look beautiful, be destroyed after practice.
Cold Nos helmet you used at the last round in Spain. Brand new helmet for that day. Fucked. Massive.
Just going to say that, although it's not your crash helmet, but you've put, you know, your blood,
Heart and
sweat,
soul
and tears
into
in it, heart and soul in it. That must wind you up in it when you go and see them have a wreck. Like, and they wreck the crash helmet. You're like, oh, I mean,
that.
maybe not because you're thinking I've got to do another one now.
Well, exactly. So it's like, it's double-edged
Double
sword.
bubble, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what does wind me up is when they drop the helmet like they do, you know,
Oh, yeah.
bang,
Oh.
which I understand, you know, they want to get the first crash out of the way, whatever, but not when,
Not in front of you. Got your new lid.
no, but
Oh,
not when
no.
Alpine Star have gone, oh, we've got a little bit of a problem with Ben Watson's crash helmet. I was like, oh, right, what's that? Sent me the photos. Fucking paint's chipping off, the paint's falling off the back. Okay, well, paint doesn't fall off. Well, you know, is there a quality problem? Do we need to address this? 2 days later, Ben's put up a video, literally holding a helmet like that,
Dropping off the
onto
floor.
fucking gravel, like, you know, the hard chip, like fucking concrete, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, send that one their way. Well, we're all right still, so
yeah. So this is peeling because there's a hole in it.
yeah, it's been dropped for 5 foot, but yeah, it's all good fun.
You must have been obviously as a you know the designer and sprayer of crash helmets, purveyor of decent crash helmets. When that whole thing where the likes of Red Bull were really kind of first to go right. I mean, genuinely
Corporate look.
outside of
Yeah.
a team,
Yeah.
go. The crash helmet is the key point.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to do. We're going to
red
identify
and
our
silver
athletes as
squares.
having From your
Red and blue and
standpoint,
silver
when
squares.
that started to happen, you must have thought, "Oh yes, that's pretty good. If I can jump onto that, which
We
you
actually-
have done."
No, we have. And we actually got, we weren't doing hardly any helmets, you know, used to do some because I'm the helmet guy, you know, but it was mainly motorcycles for
Yeah.
Harley Davidson. We got a call from Relentless at the time.
So it was relentless
It was
that first
Relentless.
came
It
in.
was Carl Nunn.
Yeah,
I think
Jamie
it was
Law. They had Jamie Law.
No, I think
No,
it was that was afterwards.
Oh, was it?
Maybe, was it Dugan and Noreen, is it? Who's riding that in its
could have been. Yeah, Nora. Yeah, he was. He was one of
Freddie,
them.
yeah.
Sure, it was. Yeah,
So we did the Relentless helmets.
definitely Nunny. I remember that.
Nunny, yeah, definitely, yeah, Nunny, and it was from there. Then I think the girl from Relentless went to work for Red Bull
Oh,
and went, oh, I know these guys. They've been, you know, sorting out the Relentless helmets, and we got in the door at Red Bull
Yeah.
as well. Happy
Nice.
days. And then from there, we managed to pick up the monster side of it as well. So yeah, sort of got the big hitters.
I
Let's
think
say.
that's quite unusual that they would use the same company.
I'm always really surprised by that.
It's not many places do it.
No.
Yeah.
It's kind of unheard of.
Yeah, that's what
It's
I'm saying.
like,
Because they're
if
right insular, them companies, aren't they? They're
I mean,
really
if you're talking
protective.
about conflict of interest, however, like I say to my team, like as long as we don't let them down, then don't give them a reason to fuck off.
I
And
just
then-
thought they'd be nervous about you sharing information and whatever because, you know, even with the bolts, we have to sign NDAs. So we
Yeah.
can't discuss with one team what another team's having.
they just want a good level of service. I mean, when I went up to the HQ Monster for the first thing, they said, look, we need you to come in. We want you to do some paint work. We've got a bit of a crisis at the moment. It's not happening where we want it to happen. Can you come and help? Anyway, so around the boardroom table at Monster. And
That's a scary old environment, isn't it?
it
I've been
is.
around a few boardrooms in my time thinking, I am out of my
I'm
comfort
meant to-
level.
Honda was the most scariest one for me.
I am out of my comfort level at this boardroom.
Yeah,
I thought I
mean,
was on
it
Dragon's Den when I was in that one.
It was like Dragon's Den. So I'm there and I'm pitching because I want this work. You know, I wanted that work. And then one of the guys came in, plonked a helmet on the table, and he said, "What do you reckon on that?" And someone had painted a helmet who was pitching for the work. And I looked at it and I was like, "Fuck me, that is a work of art. That is brilliant. Look at that fucking hell, all glitters and stuff like this. Monster Energies and fucking airbrush work on there. It was brilliant." I was like, "That's fucking brilliant. How much was that?" And they were going, "Oh yeah, I can't remember. So it was a shit ton of money.
Started backtracking.
Exactly.
How long did that take? He had it 3 months. I'm like, I can do that in 3 months for
Yeah.
$3,000.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But you give us 3 days sometimes. Like, it's not going to happen. He was like, okay, I'll get your point. You know, I get your point. So it's just offering that level of service to a premium quality.
Yeah, and it's being able to, like I say, going back to the Red Bull helmets, they all look the same, but they all are not the same. No. And it is really impressive, the level of detail that goes behind them blue and silver squares.
Yeah, when you get up close. You don't see it from afar.
No,
that's what I like.
Really good.
When it's really
Yeah,
cool.
they kind of give you levels where you can go in. It tends to be like if you're at the top of your game, you get to have more artwork done and some fancy colours and glitters and stuff like that. I'm not saying that anyone that's just got a plain rhombus is at the bottom of their game, but I mean, Danny McCaskill's not at the bottom of the game. All he's ever wanted is just a rhombus.
Yeah.
I don't want no fancy shit, right? And that's it. And he does all right.
Oh, yeah.
So, but they get really intricate, and it's just work of art. It's a piece.
That's what they are.
It's a piece of art.
And they're quite weird with what the athletes do with them after. They don't let them. They're really conscious on where they end up, where they go.
They're not getting launched into row 10 at the arena course, are they? It's like,
No, they're really weird about where they go.
Yeah.
They like to keep control of that, don't they?
Yeah.
You're not supposed to have Red Bull helmets.
no. We're
I'm literally looking over your shoulder, and all I can see is 4 or 5 of them
Yeah, there's
directly
a few-
behind
there's
me.
a few.
we can't paint any red. We get asked daily. Little Johnny needs a red
Yes.
Bull helmet
Yeah,
for
yeah.
Christmas.
They can't do
it's
that.
Not, it's
No.
not happening.
Well, they don't want some kid wheeling through a housing estate with a Red Bull helmet on. do they?
Going across the old Dean flat out on the back wheel. Don't want it.
Don't want it. Yeah.
No, and it's the same for Monster. Because you can't blame the kids. They can go out and buy the replica kit, and every now and again there might be a replica helmet with a Monster claw on it. But part of being a Red Bull or a Monster rider is you get custom painted helmet, and you don't look like the dude. And we do get asked every single time. I've had arguments with people where they're telling me I've got to paint it.
Yeah.
I've got all the money in the world to tell me how much it is. I went,
It ain't a money issue.
it's not money. It's not, I don't
Problem
care how
is, I
much
do
money
that.
you got.
I lose
Certainly
this
with
contract.
getting crash helmets sprayed. I can remember, I think Red Bull, when bringing Matt back out into the conversation when he was running the Red Bull Pro Nationals, and a few of the guys turned up from Red Bull, and he said that there's a bunch of kids out here with Red Bull graphics on your bike. And like Matt says, well, how do we stop that? It's not like we're just running the event.
Yeah.
Kids want to look like Caroli and whatever.
Yeah.
He goes, well, you need to go and contact the graphics company, but like, how do you police that? Crash helmets a bit easier, but bike graphics.
I've seen a bit of that going on. They are aggressive with people making that stuff.
Yeah, no, they're all over it. They've got their teams that do that.
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing is, there could be a separate business there just doing snides.
Yeah.
But we can't even keep up with the work that they send us. So why am I going to risk anything for doing it for little Johnny who needs it for Christmas?
No, exactly. It's not worth it.
Like,
Tell me this then, as a
Sure, there's
designer,
somebody will do it.
as a designer, and you are obviously you get a concept design. Crash helmets are one thing. In the first episode, we spoke about starting your own team with Stacey and all that kit, clothing. That's a whole other thing, because we've all got our favourites. We've all got our thing. I mean, have you ever thought about getting into that market of
following Troy Lee? Troy Lee has got into the clothing.
Troy Lee,
and for a bloke who's at the sharp end of design, I got to say the first couple of years looked a bit shit, but now it's popping nice, isn't it?
Yeah. So Troy Lee's he's at the top of the game, and he always comes out with a funky shit. You've not always got to like it, but
there is some weird stuff.
There's some weird shit, and he's got good collabs with everyone. For the last 30 years, people go, "Where do you want to be in 5-10 years' time?" Fucking Troy Lee. Like, it's not.
So does that mean you're going to come out with some casual, and then you're going to come out with some gear, or not? You're not going to follow him down that road?
No, I don't think so.
It's a difficult market.
I wouldn't say no. Like every company that starts off, especially in the motocross industry and stuff like that, everyone wants their own logo on a t-shirt and shit. And I'm like, until the phone's ringing off the hook, people going, I need an image design t-shirt, I'm not going to waste my time.
Yeah.
It's like, everyone does, but we don't need to be there.
Just in the UK alone, there's now 2 or 3 new kit manufacturers making kit, British brands.
I got to say,
the stuff like Ride.
Yeah,
the stuff they're making looks nice.
Yeah.
Better than the big brands.
Yeah.
Some of that big brand stuff's horrible.
What, like at the weekend? I don't know where we can go there, but...
Oh, that's on your
names,
discussion,
that's on
not
your
us.
discussion.
We won't sign a disclaimer. Whatever comes out of your mouth is you and you alone, not the shows.
But there is some
Go
old
for it.
I'm just going to say, I wasn't a fan
Come on, Tom, you can do it.
Max Anstey's gear at the weekend.
It was bold. It was bold. Credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, but bold.
Yeah, okay. But, I mean...
I think you're doing all right, fellas, because at the minute, because you haven't mentioned the brands.
Was that on the fence enough for you?
Well, no, it's all right, because you haven't mentioned the brand.
Hey, I didn't like it.
Yeah, it wasn't the best. But if you want to go back to the old days, RJ's kit and
The different colour legs.
anything
Different colour legs was
JT,
the coolest stuff. All the
props
JT stuff.
shit, Do you know what I really like back in the day? I think it might have been Mark Barnett or someone like that. Ronnie Tishner, Suzuki.
When they was in all the one colour.
Yeah, they'd be like yellow helmet, blue jersey, Eric Kehoe, and then
Yellow boots. All in.
Fucking trick as fuck.
Yeah.
Look so
You know
good.
what I reckon the coolest gear I've seen, and this is a bit left field, John Dowd, no fear, on the Kawasaki with the dark green kit on.
I can vaguely remember that.
I can't remember that.
Dark green and a bit of black.
Not even Kawasaki green.
No,
It was cool. It was.
I can vaguely remember that.
He came out in, I want to say, New Orleans with it on. I'm like, it was sweet.
We've got another guest.
Earlier.
We've got another guest coming on after this. I'm not going to mention his name, right? But he's already here, ready to go for the next recording. He's just put up his favourite kit. You've
Yeah.
already given them Wolf's.
We've already roasted him earlier. Don't worry about it.
But the thing is, like,
No, I didn't
kit's
roast
kit.
him. I just said cold enough could make it look
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
No, exactly. But it's the most successful kit in the country, so it's got to be something going for it. But it's.
So
I don't
what
know.
would
There's
be
designs, but I mean, like, have you not thought about designing your own gear or not? 'Cause
I've done some design gears like fucking years ago when Stace and I won.
Yeah.
Like I did it, and then it all sort of went. It was all kind of retro based. I'm all about Steve McQueen, on any Sunday, the great outdoor stuff. So I was always a little bit retro myself. I would love to. We're working with some of the helmet manufacturers at the moment for standard designs and stuff like that. We've got a couple other things bubbling away, but if I'd love to work with a gear company for sure. Yeah.
do like
I'd
a
have a good
bespoke
stab
line.
at it.
Yeah.
I always thought what Troy did with, do you remember like the Scott Russell helmets?
Yeah.
With all the feathers on the top? And they sold a sticker kit.
Yeah. He did sticker kits.
He did sticker kits with that stuff.
Because I had
like
one of them.
custom
You
stuff.
just reminded me.
Yeah, and that was a stroke of genius. And you know the story with the Troy Lee Peaks? Did I tell you that?
Yeah, I've spoken to him about
Mitch
it.
told me the story.
Yeah.
And Troy's like invested every penny he's got, like borrowed money and everything to get these 1,000 peaks made in China or Taiwan or somewhere. And when they came, they opened the box and something to do with the heat or the transport, they were like round like this. And he was absolutely gutted. And Mitch tells me the story. They were there and they bolted it on. It looked like this, like stupid looking. Well, mate, you there was from Motocross Action, Jody Weisel. He gives it, we'll just say it's the coolest thing. Sold out.
Yeah.
It's like it was a mistake.
And it was a fuck up. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fuck up. And they just basically, because Motocross Action said it was cool.
It's
they
cool.
sold them.
Yeah. They did look pretty cool though, didn't they?
So what?
But that's the thing. I mean, it was the Troy Lee Peak was the thing to have,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
Remember the fin at the back?
All had it.
Remember the fin with the lighting?
Been there, done it. Yeah.
How cool was they? I mean, that was, you don't do that now, but it was pretty cool back in the day.
There were so many iconic things because
like
obviously
fucking
going
Jack
back to
Burnicle.
Moto magazine, we used to do that page where we dedicate stuff to iconic bits of kit
Yeah.
or whatever, like the JT mouth trap.
Yeah. Well, it was a design thing. I mean,
Yeah.
my favourite design in motocross, full stop, is PW50.
Really?
PW50,
No,
designed in 1980.
No, I get it. I'm just like,
Still looks
of
cool
all the
now.
things, I wasn't expecting you to.
PW50 is the best bit of design ever seen in motocross because it looks. Anything else in 1980 looks fucking awful now.
Yeah.
PW50 still looks cool. Same
Yeah,
plastic.
you're right. I'll give
Same
you that.
bike.
Yeah, yeah.
Still looks mint.
Yeah.
So whoever
you
did
go.
that, genius.
What is your favourite kit brand? What is your favourite? I know that's a difficult question.
Current?
Just ever. Like, do you side with one clothing brand that you
No, I
have to
guess
say?
because
or
we
because
have.
asking you to choose your best kit ever is that's asking you to choose your best song or album. That's a tough one. But brand. Let's
That's
go
a
with
tough
brand.
one. I've always liked Fox. I think Alpine Star are doing a pretty good job. Apart from Max Anstey's stuff at the weekend, saw like smashing
Talk
it.
about some lovely
Got
stuff.
some
I
real
went
nice
and
stuff.
mentioned him now. You're doing so
I did
good.
mention him earlier.
Oh, did you? Right.
Yeah, I did mention him earlier. But we like so what we do.
But they've all made mistakes, haven't they? I mean, all about Travis's stuff was like the checkety shirt. You're like,
Yeah, what the.
who the fuck thought that?
Yeah, but we were working with Fox quite a bit. Like this is again behind the scenes stuff that people don't know. When they brought out that magnetic peak, we were painting helmets with Tim Geyser that looked like a standard helmet you could go and buy, but it wasn't. It was all painted. And we even had to make it look like it was a water slide decal like they would do at the factory. And they were sending peaks over because they were researching and developing them. And the peaks had all like plastic sort of welded on the inside, trying to make that magnetic peak work. But that's a cool part of the job as well. You're
Yeah,
getting all these
I bet.
prototypes and stuff coming over,
Nice.
which we do a shed ton of, but we can't say anything.
No.
And it's just that behind the scenes kind of deal, you know. But cool shit to work on, you know. And
I just
doing Tim
don't
Geyser's
see.
helmet.
I don't see any iconic gear now, though. You couldn't. Don't know.
Why do you think? Is it because there's so many of them?
Don't know. It just seemed to be back in the day. There would be like some of the Axo gear was mint, and then the Fox stuff with RJ and all that, crazy good.
Yeah, but the
I mean,
decent
then
gear they do
Wardy,
now is-
Sinisalo stuff. How nice was that?
There's one we haven't met, Cine Salo.
Lovely,
Wow, beautiful.
lovely
And it's
stuff.
such good.
And the McGrath Sinisalo.
I'd
stuff.
love to see that brand come
So
back.
nice.
That would be
so simple, so cool.
Yeah, but
and then,
then-
you know, into all the JT Dogger stuff and the JMB
Yeah, but how cool
stuff.
is it now when the gear, they'll go back and then do like a reinvention of that?
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, but
And
why can't they just do new? And why does the new stuff just look? Yeah,
Obviously, like a brand that is just making a comeback. One Industries are back in the game.
yeah, nice to
that?
see. They always had some really cutting edge stuff, but maybe all the ideas have been had. Maybe there's no more new ideas. Maybe that's it. Maybe we are mint green with like potato sack trousers. Maybe that's where we're headed, kid.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it.
looking like Scooby Doo, freaking
You won't-
fancy dress.
You're not going to be buying a set of them up then, Rob?
It's not for me, kid.
Yeah.
Yes, Wheeler just walked in with some donuts.
Oh, good lad.
Cake.
He loves the cake.
Love the cake.
So you wouldn't
Kelly
choose.
Bakewell's
You
done well for
can't
us, I reckon.
singly choose a brand. Then you wouldn't. If you had to choose one brand, come on.
Oh,
I
you
would
can't
be-
put him on the spot.
No, I'm going to.
From back in the day.
Just
It'll-
a brand, a motocross clothing brand.
JT. And
He's
the
gone with
lids
JT.
Can't fault that.
Had the helmets, David Bailey. I mean, God, the open face helmet was cool, and then it just went double cool with the full face. Bailey, Lachine, like I mean, man.
For me,
Can you pick one?
RS Taichi.
Yeah, I
was
knew 'cause you
AMB?
did that before.
Fucking God.
I always felt that was a bit of a spin-off. Though.
Oh,
they were kind of
Correct,
following.
no, wasn't it? I was never an Oxbow guy. No, went a bit left field for me.
We did helmets for Eddie from
Yeah.
Edmondson with the Oxbow. Did
Oxbow
some
stuff.
fucking
It
cool
was a
helmets
bit-
for him.
It was a bit left field with the other flowers and all that, though.
Yeah.
But that RS Taichi stuff doesn't get much trickier than that.
It was good stuff.
It's just so hard to get, wasn't it? It was hard to get. It was really quite loud, but white with like the fluorescent yellow. And for me, that was like, oof, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd side with you. I think I'd go JT.
Of course you would.
But I,
That's what everybody says.
it's,
It's a cop out.
it's not. I think it's just like clean lines. I'm a liker of clean lines.
I
don't
love
like
JT.
Kit being
JT
too,
was cool.
Too
but
mental.
Back in the day, if you go in that era, Sinisalo for me.
That's why I like that as well.
I'm not having that.
He's not having it.
That's all right.
Yeah, good time to end the podcast.
It's all about having opinions.
What does he know
mate,
about
John
design?
Dowd, No Fear, Green, 2001.
I need to look
I'm
that
gonna
up.
look that up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
I
telling
can't
you,
remember
I
that.
can't
Google
remember.
it.
Can't remember that.
That shit was nice. Just because it wasn't Kawasaki Green, I think.
Yeah.
It was just very much like that Thor
But
stuff
your
and
mixers
Tedesco.
aren't too good. Are you sure you actually saw what you saw? Or
Yeah,
you just
no,
like...
but that Tedesco Thor stuff, that was cool, that post-circuit stuff. That's not Kawasaki Green.
ridiculously hungover at the time. You was getting
I
your
would have
colours.
been. I would have been. There's no question about it. It was in New Orleans, and me and Leroy did partake of the jelly shots.
I think that's a good way to wrap it up. Because now people can
You
leave a
wonder why
comment.
my eyesight's bad. That moonshine did me, I think.
Yeah.
That moonshine. That apple pie moonshine. Kit.
Lethal, that was.
That was proper.
Again, good road trips. Very good road trips.
They all kind of mingle into one, don't they?
They do. I remember somebody asking me what, because I said I've asking one time what's Kansas like to me one time. I don't know how we got into that conversation. I said, well, actually, it's pretty flat and it's pretty cold. He said, well, it's not cold all the time. I said, it is when you're doing 80 miles an hour and you're stood on top of a camper van going down the freeway. Oh. It's pretty cold.
Yeah.
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 That was a good trip.
I don't think all them stores are ever going to come out, kid.
No, not in full.
People think we're lying. There it is. Pass that over here, Shah.
Yeah, let's have a look.
Oh, come on then. Let's have a look. Yeah,
Let's see their reaction to my favourite gear ever. Let's just see whether they agree.
Right, let's have a look. Let's look at the zoom in. Yeah, you see, I do remember, like I said, I do. It's like a forest green.
Yeah.
But I think the white, this is my opinion, Tom.
Yeah.
I like the base colours, but it's the white and black that then bring out the green. Get me?
Yeah. Secondary to that,
Brings out the colour in their eyes.
MX shift stuff.
Oh, yeah. That was
Just
good.
the black or the camo.
Oh, that was cool. Shift.
That was cool.
Got that.
That was so cool.
Yeah, I'll give you that, Wobbs. I like that.
That's cool, isn't it? It was just really, at the time, it was just, nobody
There's a
was
good,
going off-piste with the
good
colours.
contrast with the white and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And it was cool because it wasn't Kawasaki green.
It's a good conversation you had
Whereas,
because I
like
still...
Emig with a black shirt,
Yeah.
which was a real, just like a long sleeve t-shirt. That looked cool.
But it has to come to that. I watch every Supercross now, sit there and watch it with the family, and the conversation is always, at one point, we'll talk about kit. We'll have conversations about who we think's wearing the best kit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's still relevant. So anybody watching this and leaving a comment on YouTube, get involved. You can let us know.
Yeah, let us know what gear you thought was cool.
Yeah,
Or
pull some
ugly.
out like
Whatever,
that
let's have a
Dowdy
look.
stuff.
and then we can say, no, you're talking bollocks.
Now, that's the good thing about art or design. It's in the eye of the beholder, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
There's no way you're going to agree on it because every person's different.
Exactly that. Tom, it's been a pleasure having you in the studio.
Absolutely. It's been a blast.
Can you do us a helmet at a cheap rate, please?
Go up, Billy.
Well, I was gonna drop you in my little how I rode bike helmet. See if you could just stick some stickers on.
I
it.
saw it over there. We'll take it.
She's like plain white.
Come on,
pure
mates
ball.
race,
I did that
mates
because I was
race.
passing me text and I didn't want to look like Johnny, all the gear and no idea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So there you go. There's Tom Fuller. If you want a crash helmet painted by this man, what's the company they need to go to?
Image Design Custom.
There you go.
.uk.
Don't ask for a discount
No. But if you want the
because
best
it's
paint,
time consuming.
it is lovely though.
Right.
Does Troy even do custom paint anymore?
He does a little bit here and there. Sort of cherry picks it a little bit. But yeah, he's still involved.
But they don't seem to do the riders like they did.
No.
I mean, Barsha maybe.
Yeah. They don't do as many. There's a few other companies now, but he's still solid. I mean, the last time I went there, they were struggling to keep up with what they.
Yeah,
what
every time
what
I
they
go,
had.
it just looks busy in there.
Yeah. So he has a little dabble here and again. Probably does like the picks out.
He does some more left field stuff like, skateboards or cars or weird stuff. And it's just like,
He's got.
I've got a collection here. There's a little car here, which apparently is a Troy Lee design toy car. Apparently,
I know Tom
apparently it's
won't-
worth a fortune.
Tom won't spill the beans, but I should imagine the Ducati relationship. He's got plenty
That'd be cool.
in the
There'd be some
pipeline,
nice
which I know
stuff.
he can't tell us about.
That will look
Maybe
cool.
when we close down the cameras, he might be.
Yeah, there's some
Anyway,
exciting stuff going on.
I'm
there.
sure there is.
Yeah, that thing looked a bit cool for the first Anaheim. Different to the European one, much more metallic-y.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Loads of good insight. Great to have you on.
Cheers, boys.
There you go.
Enjoyed it.
Also,
It's like being back in a moto production meeting
Yeah.
just for a
No,
moment
it would
there.
have been another 4 hours of arguing
That would
if
have
that
been
was the case.
right. Thanks for tuning in one more time, and everybody that supports us, keep doing that. Obviously, the more
Like
we
and
can do that-
subscribe.
Yeah.
Fox Hill VMXDN.
And of course, if you do want to get involved as being one of our partners, or
Oh yeah, we could do with a bit of that.
hopefully we can push your brands out there as well. Please
Yeah.
do so because we're going to keep it rolling.
Please do.
And we've got another one coming up next, and we've got our guest waiting in the wings but we're not going to tell you that is, even though Wobbs might have made let's slide her
Right.
on. So we're going to sign it off there, and we'll see you next time on another Torq Moto podcast.
Cheers.
Cheers, mate.